Hi everyone, so my name's Nathan Lawson and I study geography at the University of Oxford. So I was born in Croydon, South London, where I spent my primary school years and the first 11 years of my life. Then I moved out to the countryside to East Sussex, where I finished the rest of my secondary education, also went to sixth form. In terms of my ethnicity, I'm mixed race. My father was born in Pakistan to white British parents, and my mother was born in Zambia to Indian Gujarati parents. When I first moved to Oxford, or first got my acceptance into Oxford, of course my family were incredibly proud because not only am I a first generation scholar, but to go to one of the most prestigious universities in the world made them incredibly proud of me. In terms of how ethnic my home life is, anyone who's mixed race will tell you that it's a bit of a weird dynamic at home because you don't really know which side you fit on the spectrum, I guess, in terms of traditions and things like that. So I would both celebrate Christmas, traditionally obviously a Christian celebration, and then just a few months before or 1 month before even, I'd celebrate Diwali. So a bit of a mixed bag even when it comes to food as well, a mixture between English food, whatever that means, and Indian food as well. So in terms of my thoughts and my fears upon arriving to Oxford, I would say that it wasn't necessarily being an ethnic minority that made me fearful, because as I mentioned, in my school in East Sussex, where I spent my secondary school in sixth form, it's kind of bad, but I became used to being an ethnic minority in the sense that there were, say, 200 people in a year, and I was literally one of just a handful, maybe 5 or 6 brown people in the whole year. So I was pretty used to having the odd comments, the ignorance, the lack of knowledge of other ethnicities within that context. So that wasn't a problem, but more so I think when you're mixed race, you don't really know where you belong, whether, in my case, white and Indian. When you go over to the Indian, let's say an Indian society or an Indian group of people, you're not Indian enough, right? And it doesn't help that a lot of the cultural things such as language, I don't speak the language. But then on the white side, visually you stick out like a sore thumb. So I think that was my main concern of fear, I guess, coming to Oxford, because you didn't really fit in either group. I was pleasantly surprised in the sense that that concern that I had about not being Indian enough, I guess, I felt that a little bit, but on the flip side, a lot of the societies that I went to actually became a big part of my life here at Oxford, and I really, really, really embraced it because, like I said, I come from an incredibly white background, and although I've had a lot of experience with Indian culture in my family, from a friendship and a student sort of perspective, I haven't really had that much interaction with Indian culture. So I really, I took that with both hands. Because they're so small within the context of Oxford, these societies, in terms of the number of people that go there, to these ethnic societies and also religious ones, there's actually, on the flip side, there's a real strength and interconnectedness of these societies. Everybody knows everybody's name. In many cases, they form like a mini family sort of thing. So there's real strength in that, despite being underrepresented in the student body as a whole. In terms of my college as well, so Jesus College, it's pretty bad when it comes to diversity, but it's overwhelmingly white, and also middle and upper class. I think the main barriers, I guess, would be cultural. And it also largely depends on who you are as a person of colour, in terms of to what extent you want to express your culture. Because I know a lot of people, and understandably, would feel scared to, because, as I mentioned, it's an overwhelmingly white culture, and you don't want to upset anyone, which of course is completely, it shouldn't be the case, but a lot of people of colour do feel like that. In terms of me, I don't really give a toss, because, like I said, I've been used to living in a very white area for many years, and so I just go and do my thing. I don't really care what people say. But on the flip side, I don't really feel that integrated with the college community, perhaps because of that. And same with religious beliefs as well. I think maybe one of 2 Hindus in the whole year group, and across the whole undergraduate community, let's say 6. So yeah, there's also that difference there. So in terms of negative experiences, I'd say that I haven't ever experienced overt blatant racism towards myself, but I know that a lot of my peers have, particularly within my college as well. I can think of quite a few examples, but it's not my thing. I just feel like if they had a greater diversity of staff, ethnic diversity of staff, it'd make conversations a lot easier, because you wouldn't always feel like you're having to prove a point or get a certain viewpoint heard. Because of course, if you had people who shared that experience in the staff body or a welfare body, then you wouldn't feel so drained essentially in trying to persuade people about your experience and get them to understand where you're coming from. In terms of do I think my background limits me or holds me back? Again, it's a peculiar thing because I'm mixed race and come from a very white background. I don't think it does, but there is definitely in the back of my mind a degree to which I think it's called internalized racism, where to what extent should I change my behavior, my accent as well, my mannerisms to be palatable to the situation or to the environment, that academic environment that I find myself in Oxford. I mean, a little bit extra about myself, I'm the president of the Oxford Climate Society, and I think, again, due to internalised racism, that a large reason why I've been able to get so far in it is because of that, the degree to which I've changed my mannerisms, which is incredibly problematic, but it's the case of the matter, and I wish that would be changed also about society in general. Why should one who's incredibly able or intelligent have to change the way they manifest that or express that intelligence in order to be palatable and leveraged by society? That's what I'd really like to change. I wouldn't want to have to change how I speak or what I dress in to be able to get the same message across the club. And then also just one point about my subject, geography. In the most recent admissions statistics that the university just released, it actually performed one of the worst when it came to ethnic diversity, but also social diversity in terms of what class the students who came into the geography department came from. And I just think it's a massive shame, because geography is known for being one of the most progressive subjects in terms of the curriculum that they cover in the whole university, but just generally as a subject, right? It covers so much on race, so much on colonialism, and I'd argue, again, I'd probably need to do a bit more research into the content of other subjects, but within the context of Oxford, it's probably one of the most progressive. And I know a lot of other faculties, they're under immense pressure to include things like colonialism and race into the curriculum, and also with climate change as well. Like, students are doing a great job, and have up until this point, in terms of access, in terms of making Oxford feel like a safer space in responding to incidents of quite overt and, well, in all cases disgusting, but in some were like, bloody hell, that still goes on. You think that's like something that's finished in the 1920s, but people are still doing it. But I think that the burden of responding to racist issues should not be placed on the shoulders of the students. I don't think that should be the case, and it has been largely up until now. So I think that a lot of the change that needs to happen, that hasn't already, has to come from the top down. So like I said, increasing the diversity of staff would make it easier to have conversations in college relating to race, relating to class and things like that, if people shared that experience with you at the senior level. And then that point about internalized racism and having to culturally assimilate and change your mannerisms, what you what you dress in to feel like you can fit in and to feel like your voice can be heard. I just think that that's quite a long-term thing that can be changed, and it's a lot more subtle and nuanced. But I do think that Oxford would help by losing some of their alienating traditions that make people feel like they need to convert into a certain or adapt into a certain way of being in Oxford in order to, like I said, be heard. Oh yeah, and the other point in terms of what Oxford can do, I do feel like I've got quite a unique situation, because there's a gentleman in the senior body of Jesus College who shares the same ethnicity and religion as me, and in terms of Hinduism, it's like quite a small sect of Hinduism that I practice, and that honestly has made my Jesus College experience dramatically different, because there's always that one person that I can reach out to if I've got a problem at the senior level, and they're just on it, they just get it sorted, and you have this mutual connection outside of Jesus College that makes your experience so much better. So, like I said, to echo that point about increasing the diversity of staff will make such a big difference to students' experiences, and also when they report incidents of racism. Progression in ethnic diversity can feel very slow at times, and quite frankly, it is very slow. I'll just say that wherever the college are doing or the university are doing right, taking steps in the right direction, commend them for it. And where they're not, you need to try and pressure them a lot more, which I feel like by and large the student body have already done overwhelmingly. But also just to take a step back and notice how far the university has come. This is both shocking and amazing at the same time. And in terms of my message to any ethnic minority students who are watching this, I'd just say don't be discouraged by the lack of diversity, because you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, right? So yeah, don't let their inadequacy stop you from applying, essentially. Don't let someone else's or an institution's defects inhibit you from applying, because you deserve just as much as anyone else, if not more so, to be in this space, in this academic space, and get what is a brilliant education. So yeah, just apply. And also the point about geography, come on man, come on, get into the Geography Society. It's not just colouring in. It's a lot of maps, but it's not just colouring in, okay? But geography, because it's so interdisciplinary, and you've got professors and experts from so many different subjects within geography, that it just makes me very, very sad that a lot of people of colour don't feel like it's a suitable subject for them, or that they'd get as much out of it from other degrees. Check what they cover in the curriculum on the Oxford Geography website, and I'm sure you'll be shocked by how diverse the curriculum is. There's still a way to go, but as Oxford courses go, like I said, it's one of the most progressive. Come to geography. I hope you enjoyed the series that I've made.